The aroma of freshly made jollof rice wafted through the spacious kitchen of Maya and Ethan's home in Lagos. The early evening sunlight streamed through the large windows, casting golden patterns across the polished wooden floors. It was a scene of quiet bliss, the kind of life they had both dreamed about since their university days when they'd met at a noisy campus fellowship gathering. Maya, now seated at the dining table with a nervous energy she couldn't shake off, absently stirred the rice on her plate. Her heart thudded loudly in her chest. Ethan stood near the sink, humming to himself as he washed dishes. A tall, handsome man with a laid-back charm. His laughter was like music in their home, filling every room with warmth. But tonight, Maya wasn't laughing. She had news. Big news. The kind of news that changed lives forever. "Ethan," she called softly. He turned, wiping his hands on a kitchen towel. "Yeah, babe?" Maya opened her mouth, but no words came out. She bit her lip nervously. Ethan's brow furrowed. "Are you okay? You look like someone stole your suya." She let out a nervous laugh. "It's not suya. It's something else." Ethan walked over and sat across from her, his expression filled with concern. "What's going on?" Maya took a deep breath and blurted it out. "I'm pregnant." The silence that followed was deafening. Ethan's jaw dropped slightly. "Wait, you're serious?" She nodded, her eyes misty. For a moment, he just stared at her. Then, slowly, a wide grin spread across his face. "Babe, we're going to have a baby?" Maya smiled through her tears. "Yes." Ethan whooped loudly, pulling her into a tight embrace. "This is the best news ever." They laughed, cried, and held each other for what felt like forever. The future seemed bright and beautiful. Little did they know that pregnancy was about to turn their peaceful world upside down. One Saturday morning, Ethan was getting ready to head out for a quick errand. He wore his favorite green polo shirt and a pair of neatly pressed jeans. Maya, who was lounging on the couch scrolling through her phone, suddenly looked up and frowned. "You're really going out like that?" she asked, her tone laced with disapproval. Ethan blinked. "What do you mean? What's wrong with my clothes?" "The shirt makes you look unserious," she declared with a wave of her hand. "Unserious?" Ethan looked down at himself, confused. "It's just a shirt, Maya." She narrowed her eyes. "So now I don't know fashion? Is that what you're saying?" Realizing he was treading dangerous waters, Ethan quickly changed tactics. "What do you think I should wear then?" Maya huffed dramatically. "Forget it. You obviously don't care about my opinion." Ethan sighed, deciding it was best to let it go. As the pregnancy wore on, the shenanigans increased. By the time Maya was 5 months pregnant, Ethan had come to accept that his wife had officially lost her mind. One night, just as he was settling into bed after a long day, Maya shook him awake. "Ethan," she whispered urgently. "I want boli." Ethan opened one eye. "You want roasted plantain?" "At 1 a.m. "Yes. And not just any boli. It has to be from Mom and Ketchy's stall near the market." Ethan groaned. "Babe, the market's closed. Everyone is asleep." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "So you don't care about me or your child? Is that what you're saying?" Defeated, Ethan threw off the covers and got out of bed. "Let me see if I can find something close." As he drove through the quiet streets of Lagos in search of midnight boli, he wondered how he'd gone from a peaceful life to being a man on a wild goose chase for plantain in the dead of night. Despite the chaos, Ethan began to notice something strange about Maya's behavior. She was sneaking out of the house during the day, claiming she had doctor's appointments. Her phone buzzed constantly with messages she quickly hid from him. One afternoon, curiosity got the better of him. He decided to follow her. To his surprise, she didn't go to a hospital. She went to a small cultural center. Ethan watched from a distance, utterly bewildered, as his heavily pregnant wife joined a group of women practicing traditional Yoruba dance. When Maya finally spotted him, she froze. "You've been secretly dancing?" Ethan asked incredulously. "I needed an outlet for all this energy," Maya confessed sheepishly. "Besides, dancing is good for the baby." Ethan shook his head, laughing despite himself. You're full of surprises, Maya. Another time Maya sat in thoughts, then she said to Ethan, I think we should get yellow curtains, Maya declared. Ethan, already exhausted from work, shook his head. Yellow doesn't match the room. So, you're saying my ideas are stupid now? I didn't say that, Maya. You implied it. Ethan threw his hands up in frustration. I love you, but you're driving me insane. Maya burst into tears. I don't know what's wrong with me, Ethan. I just feel crazy all the time. Ethan took a deep breath, his anger melting away. He pulled her into his arms. You're not crazy, babe. You're just pregnant. And I'm here for you. Continuing in her drama, on a bright Sunday afternoon, and the church service has just ended. The congregation is mingling outside, exchanging pleasantries. Ethan stands with a few friends, shaking hands and chatting, when suddenly, a loud wail pierces the air. Heads turn in confusion, only to see Maya, heavily pregnant, standing dramatically in the middle of the church compound, tears streaming down her face. Her vibrant lace gown shimmers in the sun, but her face is twisted in sorrow as she points an accusing finger at Ethan. Why did you do this to me? She cries, voice trembling with emotion. The entire church freezes. Ethan's eyes widened in panic. Maya, what are you talking about? He asks cautiously, stepping toward her. But Maya is already pacing back and forth, clutching her baby bump as if she has just received the worst news of her life. I wanted to be a nun. I was meant to serve God in peace, wearing my white habit, singing hymns in the convent. But no! You came into my life and made me pregnant, she sobs dramatically. Laughter erupts from the church members, but Maya is dead serious. What's funny? She snaps, glaring at the amused faces around her. I could have been Sister Maya. I was supposed to be fasting and praying, not craving suya and peppered ponmo at midnight. Ethan buries his face in his hands, shaking his head as some church elders struggle to suppress their laughter. A kind elderly woman steps forward, patting Maya's back gently. My dear, it's the will of God. Being a mother is a beautiful calling too. Maya sniffles, turning to her. But do nuns get swollen feet? Do they wake up wanting to fight their husbands at 2 a.m. over jollof rice? She asks, voice shaking with frustration. The entire church bursts into uncontrollable laughter, some even doubling over. Ethan, embarrassed yet amused, finally approaches her and places an arm around her shoulder. Okay, Sister Maya, let's go home, he says, guiding her gently toward the car. Maya sighs deeply, wiping her tears. Fine. But I want ice cream and Quoby on the way home, she mutters, still sniffling. Ethan sighs, shaking his head as they walk off, the laughter of the congregation ringing in the background. In another episode of her drama, it was a sunny Saturday afternoon. Maya, dressed in a vibrant yellow Ankara gown that hugged her swollen belly, was pacing the living room with determination. Her eyeglasses perched dramatically on her nose. She had a strange glint in her eye, a look Ethan had learned to both fear and respect. Maya, Ethan called cautiously from the couch. Everything okay? She stopped pacing and turned to face him, a dramatic pause hanging thick in the air. I've decided, she announced solemnly. I want a cigar. Ethan blinked, certain he had misheard. You want a what? A big cigar, she repeated, her tone dead serious. Not those small, wimpy ones, oh. I'm talking big enough to hold like this. She gestured widely with her fingers. Ethan's jaw nearly hit the floor. Maya, you don't even smoke. I don't care, she declared defiantly, placing her hands on her hips. I want to try it, just once. Ethan laughed nervously, hoping it was a joke. Babe, you're pregnant. You can't be out here puffing cigars like some gangster from a Nollywood movie. Why not? She shot back with a dramatic flair. Is it not my life? Am I not the one carrying this child of destiny? If I want to chew bitter cola, I chew it. If I want to drink Zobo, I drink it. And if I want a cigar, I will have it. Ethan rubbed his temples, torn between exasperation and amusement. Maya, cigars are not cravings. They're there for grandfathers at parties or political meetings, not pregnant women. But Maya was unmoved. Oya, follow me to the store, or I will find it myself. Ethan sighed, shaking his head. This woman will not kill me. After a tense silence, Maya's face suddenly softened, and her lips trembled. Tears welled up in her eyes. Ethan, I don't even know what's wrong with me, she whispered. I don't want a cigar. I just feel so frustrated and weird, like nothing makes sense anymore. Ethan's heart melted at the vulnerability beneath her madness. He stood up, pulled her gently into his arms, and kissed her forehead. You're doing great, babe. It's just the hormones messing with your head. She sniffled into his chest. So, I can't have a cigar? He chuckled. No cigar. But I'll get you asin and chilled palm wine if that'll make you feel better. Her eyes lit up. Make it 2 plates, and you have a deal. All the drama were jokes and funny episodes to Ethan, even though he got irritated by her antics sometimes, until a certain day, when something happened. Something that would almost ruin their marriage and change the course of her pregnancy journey. It was a quiet night in their estate in Lekki Phase 1. The palm trees swayed gently in the cool breeze, and all the houses were dark except for one, Maya and Ethan's. Ethan had just fallen into a deep, blissful sleep when he was jolted awake by the sound of drawers slamming shut and zippers being yanked aggressively. He squinted through the darkness. Maya, what are you doing? I'm packing my things, she declared with righteous fury. Ethan sat up, bewildered. Packing your things? For what? I'm going back to my parents' house, she snapped, throwing clothes into a large gonna-must-go bag with wild determination. Since you don't care about me, let me go where people love me. Ethan rubbed his eyes, trying to make sense of the madness. Maya, it's midnight. Your parents live in Abadan. I will find my way, she said defiantly, zipping the bag shut with a dramatic flourish. Don't bother stopping me. Before Ethan could respond, she hoisted the heavy bag onto her hip and began stomping toward the front door. Maya, wait, Ethan called, both amused and alarmed. You can't be serious. But Maya was beyond reason. I'm done, Ethan. Done, she shouted, her voice echoing through the quiet estate. She flung the door open and marched outside, dragging the bag behind her like a warrior on a mission. Ethan followed her to the porch, hands on his hips. Babe, you're not really going to walk down the estate road with that bag, are you? Watch me, she yelled over her shoulder. Ethan sighed, deciding to call her bluff. Fine. Go. Enjoy your midnight stroll to Abadan. He leaned casually against the porch railing, fully expecting her to come to her senses after a few steps. But Maya kept walking, and walking, and walking. Ethan's amusement started turning into mild concern. This woman is actually serious, he thought, shaking his head. Just as he was about to run after her, a sharp sound shattered the night air. Bang! The unmistakable crack of a gunshot echoed through the estate. Maya froze in her tracks. Her wide eyes darted toward the distant sound, and for the first time that night, she looked genuinely frightened. Reality hit her like a freight train. She was pregnant, dragging a bag in the dead of night, putting herself and her unborn child at risk. Without a word, she turned on her heel and sprinted back toward Ethan, abandoning the bag entirely. Ethan burst into laughter as she ran straight into his arms, panting and trembling. I thought you were traveling, he teased between chuckles. Shut up, she gasped, clinging to him. That was a gunshot. It was probably just someone bursting a tire, Ethan said, still laughing. But look at you, track star of the year. Maya's face crumpled, and to Ethan's surprise, she began to cry. I'm sorry, she sobbed, burying her face in his chest. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been acting crazy. I feel out of control. Ethan's laughter faded as he held her tightly. Babe, it's okay. You're not crazy. You're just pregnant. But I smashed someone's windshield, almost fought a server, and made you drive around Lagos at 3 a.m. for a gussie, she wailed. Who does that? Ethan smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. You do. And I love you anyway. Maya sniffled, wiping her tears. I don't deserve you. Well, you're stuck with me. They stood there in the cool night air, the madness of the past months finally dissolving into something softer and more peaceful. From that night forward, Maya's wild antics ceased. She found herself calmer, more reflective, as the days counted down to the birth of their baby. 9 months after the madness began, Maya gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. As she cradled their daughter in her arms, all the chaos faded into distant memory. "You survived the pregnant madwoman," Maya teased weakly, smiling up at Ethan. Ethan chuckled. "I should get a trophy for that." They laughed together, knowing that despite the chaos, their love had weathered the storm and come out stronger on the other side. Ethan had seen a lot during Maya's pregnancy madness: windshield smashing, midnight food searches, impromptu attempts to move out, and a gluttonous parade of cravings that defied logic. But nothing could have prepared him for this moment. He chuckled, kissing her forehead. "And I'd do it all over again for you." In that moment, despite everything, they knew that love, like parenthood, was messy, unpredictable, and absolutely worth it.